from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for August 2021. So August 22nd, we have our second full moon in Aquarius. Last month, we had the very first full moon in Aquarius at 1 degree, 26 minutes. And that really kind of set the tone for what it is that we were going to accomplish over the last month. So we have to remember a full moon is a releasing point. We are purging, we are letting go, we are surrendering to the energies of the moon. This is emotions, this is ideas, this is connections, this is business relationships. And because this is the Aquarian energy, it's an air energy, it's very much focused on our mental plane, the higher octave of our mental plane though, where we receive huge amounts of insight, aha moments from the cosmos, from our intuition. So last month, we were given an opportunity to kind of use a brand new footing, a brand new foundation to detach from some of the things that haven't been working for us. We have to rewind to the beginning of the year when we had a new moon in Aquarius in February, where we had a new vision, we had new dreams, we had new wants, needs, and desires to make connections, to find a new group of like-minded people, and to really do what we could for the greater, grander collective. Then we had the new moon in Leo, and that opened up our heart chakra. It showed us where it is we had to disconnect from the greater, grander collective in order to honor our own wants, needs, and desires as an individual. What we tend to forget is that we can't go out and save the world until we save ourselves. When we pour into ourselves, when we build ourselves up, when we recognize our own individual talents, abilities, and skills, and pour into that, really individualizing our own frequency and vibration, that is how we contribute to the greater, grander collective. So we have this huge illumination of where it is that we had to step away from doing things that we've been doing in order to think that we're doing right by other people. And we had to hone our energy back in, focus on ourselves. The new moon in Leo, of course, was amplified by the Lionsgate portal, which of course put us in our heart space, recognizing what it is that we're now being called to do, what it is that we're passionate about, what it is that we want to pursue, what it is that we've been downloaded with as far as new desires go. That new moon in Leo was the peak point between these two full moon in Aquarius energies. So this full moon in Aquarius is taking place at a critical degree, 29 degrees, which is a huge kind of kick in our butts to wrap it up. We had an opportunity to take 2 steps forward under the last full moon energy to pursue our new wants, desires, and dreams that of course got illuminated under the new moon in Leo. But for many of us, we didn't get as far as we would like, and it definitely didn't happen as fast as we would like. And in most cases, we had to take 2 steps back. There's been a lot of information, there's been a lot of healing, there's been a lot of purging since last month's full moon in Aquarius. And now this full moon in Aquarius is providing us with a bigger vision. We are acting as the observer, we are seeing things from a different perspective. We have had new aha moments. We have had new revelations emerge that have totally changed the game from our vision, from our dreams. That new moon in Leo was also a point where we got to pick one timeline over the other. And with that came new soul contracts. Now we are taking the steps that are needed to step a little bit closer to those particular dreams and desires. However, now we're illuminated to more things that we have to detach from, that we have to disconnect from, that we need more freedom from in order to actually pursue our new meaning, our new purpose. So this full moon in Aquarius, there's a lot of people out there saying that it is a rare blue moon. It is not. A blue moon happens when there are 2 full moons in the same month. This is not that. This, however, is a special series of events because we haven't had this particular back-to-back energy take place since 2002. I don't know if y'all can rewind in your mind what was going on as far as that particular chapter of your life goes, but it was likely a time where you were breaking through, breaking away from old ideas, old relationships, old attachments, things that were holding you back, restricting you from really pursuing a brand new path, a brand new idea, a brand new avenue. So we have to talk about the fact that this particular moon, we have the moon at 29 degrees in Aquarius, which is about the greater, grander collective, society, the roles and responsibilities that we have to each other, versus the sun in Leo at 29 degrees. The sun in Leo, of course, wants us to detach from the collective, wants us to detach from the social responsibilities and doing things out of the pure fact that we think that that's what other people want us to do, to move into our heart space, to see what we want to do, start honoring ourselves, to advocate in our own power for our own wants, needs, and desires. Now, this isn't supposed to be a selfish thing. This is recognizing that when we do the work to ourselves, that energy, that vibration pours into the collective. We have the ability to help or harm ourselves and help or harm the collective. When we stand firm in our individualism, which is the sun in Leo, in our individual skills, talents, and abilities, when we follow our heart and our soul, we are filling up our individual cup. And when our individual cup runneth over, that is when other people get to benefit from our energy, from our vibration, from our gifts and talents that we are now honing in and perfecting to share to the world. So there's a very good energy taking place under this full moon in Aquarius, which we can thank Jupiter for. Jupiter is the planet of growth, of expansion. He really gives us opportunities. He gives us abundance. He renews our confidence, our faith, not only in ourselves, but in our capabilities of how it is that now we can go forth in this brand new path and really stand in our power to perfect our skills and our abilities in our own selves so that we can help the greater, grander collective, the group, the family, the team, the network. This is about recognizing the individual power that we can contribute to the grander collective. Jupiter is conjunct this moon, sitting right beside this full moon in Aquarius, amplifying, magnifying the energy of this moon. So we have to understand that, yes, Aquarian energy is about the collective. It is also about being progressive and innovative enough to push past our current boundaries, our current restrictions, the blockages, the challenges that we're facing as a society, to come up with better ways, roles and responsibilities that we as individuals have to ourselves and, of course, have to the greater, grander collective. But this full moon in Aquarius is all about freedom. It's all about independence. It's all about emotionally detaching from our situations enough to jump into the higher intellect of the observer mentality to see where it is that, yes, these awful things had to happen in order to shake us up, to wake us up to a new way of doing things. We have to remember that Uranus, the ruler of this full moon in Aquarius, just went retrograde. This is a time to rewind, to revisit some things. He's retrograde in Taurus, which means that we have to revisit our resources. We have to revisit our talents and our skills. We have to revisit the strength in the foundations that we've built in our relationships, in how we maintain ourselves. This is going to be a huge opportunity to have another collective awakening. It's exactly what we need. We need more people coming online. And this full moon in Aquarius wants us to, yes, focus on the things that aren't working, things that are blocking us and challenging us and holding us back so that we can break free from that, creating more freedom, creating more independence for us to be our individual selves, pouring into the power of the collective. But it's also pushing us to see where it is that maybe we have to detach from the old vision, the old paradigm, the old way of doing things. Why? Because we're about to move into Virgo season merely hours after the full moon in Aquarius peaks. And what we're going to do is we're going to get our sleeves rolled up. We're going to get our hands dirty. We have plans to make. We have new systems to put in place. We have new foundations to build and strengthen. We have new ways of analyzing all the things that went wrong in order to come up with new plans on how we can make things right. But in order for us to do this, we have to fully detach from the old paradigm, the old way of thinking, the old way of seeing things. Jupiter wants us to focus on what it is that we want, what it is we want to move into. Although typically speaking, we should be focused on what it is that we're letting go of. Because Jupiter's presence so close to this full moon in Aquarius, we're being asked to focus on what we want. Focus on the new reality, focus on the new dream, focus on the new opportunity. Why? Because he's magnifying, he's turning the volume all the way up on accelerating this manifestation process that we are about to move into in Virgo season, where we actually start seeing these physical elements appear in our realms. So we have a lot of aspects going on. I would definitely recommend that you download your moon guide. If you want to do some shadow work, if you want to do some healing work, those moon guides are 100% created to help navigate through your own individual path right now, aligning to the energies under the full moon and really kind of picking apart the shadow parts within you in order to change the narrative and alchemize it into a higher vibration and a higher frequency. In that moon guide, we go through all kinds of questions that we can dive deep into our psyche, into our heart space to answer. We dive into the elemental energy profile, which I think is absolutely amazing compared to last month's full moon in Aquarius, where we were given equal elemental energy profiles to work with, meaning equal air, water, fire, earth. It was literally a clean slate for us to work upon. This particular full moon in Aquarius looks a lot more like a peace sign. And that's what we're doing. We're looking to, find peace again, find harmony again. You can find peace in chaos, in disruption. You can find harmony in destruction. And when we focus on what needs to happen as far as peace amongst the collective, it trickles down to say, okay, well, I can't think about the peace in the collective until I establish peace within myself. There's so much going on with this full moon in Aquarius. I am going to tell you, it isn't going to be hugely emotional because the Aquarian energy kind of detaches from the emotional part of things in order to really put a pressure on the mental plane, sorting through the intellect, asking the right questions, pushing the boundaries of our thought processes in order to come up with new ways of doing things. We want to improve, we want to innovate, we want to progress, we want to make a dramatic change, not only in our own individual lives, but when we do that in our individual lives and we let our heart and soul lead, then we contribute overall to the vibration and the frequency of the collective. So I really hope that y'all pay attention to your anxiety, because again, this Aquarian energy, Uranus rules over this particular full moon. That is the central nervous system. We have a lot of thoughts, a lot of ideas, a lot of pressure taking place in our mental planes, in our crown, in our third eye. We are kind of looking at the fact, and not that I want to dive into the moon guide too deeply here, but Mercury and Mars are sitting so close together in Virgo energy under this full moon that this is a time where Mercury, being the lower level intellect, to the Uranian energy, which is the higher intellect, the observer, intuitional intellect, we are now funneling in divine guidance, divine insight through our intuition, through the universe, through the cosmos, and bringing it into the lower level of the intellect, which is Mercury, who is in its place of power in Virgo, which is an earth energy, which means that we have the ability to bring our ideas, our thoughts to physical form. And Mars in Virgo is willing to take a huge action, make a huge move in order to actually birth whatever it is that we've been mulling over and thinking about in our mental plane. So that's just a quick summary of the energy that we have to work with here. It is a very powerful time to disconnect, from detach from the old that we thought we wanted to bring to life at the beginning of the year, that we just realized we're no longer in alignment with because we have new passions and new desires to pursue. So however you tap into this energy, all I want is that you are paying attention to your thoughts, to your physical body, to the ideas that you are currently having in making a huge move and a huge transformation in your physical realm and in your reality in order to honor yourself and to follow your heart. I hope you have a beautiful full moon in Aquarius.